My parents stood in the back of a gallery and stared at the portrait they'd thrown in the trash 3 months earlier. It had a price tag on it. $8,900. And right next to it, a small plaque on the wall that told everyone exactly what they'd done. They didn't know I'd planned for them to be there. They didn't know I had screenshots of the texts they'd sent the night they tossed it. And they definitely didn't know what those screenshots were about to cost them. That's where the story ends. Let me tell you where it starts. My name is Serena Weston. I'm 28 years old, and I paint portraits for a living. Not on the side. Not as a hobby. I have a client base, mostly upper-middle-class families, executives who want something more personal than a photograph, couples celebrating anniversaries, parents who've lost someone and want them preserved on canvas. Some months I make $3,000. Some months I make $8,000. I work out of a studio apartment in 5 Points, Nashville, Tennessee's Arts District. North-facing window, good light, canvases stacked against exposed brick. The place always smells like linseed oil and turpentine. My parents introduce me as Serena. She paints. Not Serena the artist. Not Serena who does commission work. Just she paints, like it's something I do with my hands while I wait for real life to start. That's the family I come from. And once you understand that, everything else makes sense. My father is Walter Weston, 59. He owns a small HVAC company, built it from nothing in 1992, worked his way up from installation tech to owner. He's proud of that, and he should be. My mother Carol, 57, has been an administrative manager at a law firm for 23 years. They're practical people. They value stability. Things that come with a salary, a title, a clear path forward. Then there's my brother Drew. 26 years old, 2 years younger than me. MBA graduate, consulting offer straight out of school, $89,000 a year to start. His start date was January, but my mother had already updated her Facebook bio to proud mom of a consultant months before he'd sat at a single desk. I'm not jealous of Drew. He works hard, he deserves the job. But when you're the older sibling in a family like mine and you chose a path without a salary or a clear trajectory, you stop being the example. You become the question mark. A few examples. My college graduation, May 2019. I graduated summa cum laude with a BFA and won the art department award, announced at 10:32 in the morning. My father texted at 10:47, pipe burst at the Fletchers. Be there soon. Record it for me. He missed me walk. Got there in time to wave at Drew, who was a high school sophomore sitting in the audience. Not graduating. Just watching. In 2021, my first solo exhibition, small gallery, 12 pieces, 40 people, local press. My mother texted me at 4 p.m. the day of the opening, "Honey, I'm so sorry. Drew's basketball championship is tonight. You understand? I'll send flowers." She never asked to see the photos. Drew's team lost. Every Christmas, my parents send out holiday cards, professional photographer, $350, in front of the Christmas tree. For 3 years running, those cards had 3 people in them. My mother, my father, and Drew. Last December I got one in the mail, delivered to my apartment like I was just another name on their list. I still don't fully understand that one. By the time their 30th anniversary came around, I wasn't angry anymore. I was just tired. Tired of being the footnote. But 30 years is a milestone, and I thought, maybe this time. Maybe if I made something perfect, something they genuinely could not ignore. Their anniversary was August 15th, 2025. I started planning in mid-June. I pulled their 1995 wedding photo from the album on the living room shelf. My dad in a gray tuxedo, my mom in a cream-colored dress, standing on the steps of St. Andrew's Church. His hand on her waist. I decided I'd paint them as they are now, same pose, same love, just lived in. I took reference photos at Sunday dinner without explaining why. I started with a 24 by 30 canvas, professional grade. 2 coats of gesso, vine charcoal sketch, then the underpainting. My father's jawline is softer now than in 1995. My mother has lines at the corners of her eyes when she smiles. I wasn't erasing their age. I was honoring it. I used my grandmother's oils for everything. She died in 2019, breast cancer. She was a serious painter, had a small studio in her basement, let me sit on the floor and watch her work when I was a kid. When she passed, she left me her Winsor & Newton oils, some untouched since the 70s, labels faded, some still with her handwriting, little notes about mixing ratios and drying times. She also left me a note I have framed in my studio: art doesn't need permission. It only needs patience. I worked at night. Mornings were for commissions that paid rent. Evenings were for them. 120 hours total. I counted. When it was finished, I chose a walnut frame, museum quality, $240. Wrapped it in cream linen paper, pressed a wax seal with a brass stamp, the letter W for Weston. Then I wrote a letter on cardstock with a fountain pen. Dear Mom and Dad, I painted this with Grandma's oils. She always said art was about seeing people clearly. I hope when you look at this, you see what I see. 30 years of choosing each other. 30 years of building a life. I'm so proud to be your daughter. Happy anniversary. Love, Serena. I tucked it under the wrapping. This was it. The party was Saturday evening. About 40 people, church friends, HVAC clients, neighbors. String lights, barbecue, a sheet cake with 30 years in blue icing. At 6, Drew pulled up carrying 2 Nordstrom bags, grinning. Can't let my sister show me up, right? He called out. Everyone laughed. I was by the dessert table holding a cup of lemonade. I didn't say anything, just held the cup a little tighter. At 7, gift time. Drew went first. My mother opened a silver bracelet, delicate links, engraved plate, 30 years. She gasped. Hand to her mouth. Drew. This is beautiful. My father opened a matching watch, same engraving on the back. He put it on immediately, turned to his HVAC guy standing nearby. You see this? My son knows quality. My mother was dabbing her eyes. Then she looked at me. Serena, sweetie, do you want to go next? I brought the portrait in. Set it down in front of them. My mother smiled. Oh, how lovely. She unwrapped it slowly. Looked at the painting. My father leaned in. A moment of silence. Oh, Serena. This is very nice. Someone took a photo, my parents on either side of the portrait, smiling. Camera clicked once. Then my mother set it in the corner of the gift table and turned back to Drew. I have to show everyone this bracelet, she said, her voice bright again. The portrait sat in that corner for the rest of the night. Nobody stopped. Nobody asked. At 10 I said my goodbyes. My mother kissed my cheek. Thanks for coming, honey. And for the painting. It's very nice. I drove home thinking, maybe tomorrow. Maybe they'll hang it tomorrow. The next morning I realized I'd left my ceramic serving dish at their house. I texted my mom. She said they were at church, but the door was unlocked. I got there around 10:30. Walked through the kitchen to grab my dish. That's when I saw the trash can. White plastic bin in the corner. The lid was off, and resting on top, face down, on coffee grounds and wine-soaked napkins, was my portrait. Still in the cream paper. Wax seal still intact. The letter still underneath it, unopened. They hadn't even read it. They'd unwrapped it just enough to see what it was, then wrapped it back up and thrown it away. I stood there until my hands stopped shaking. Then I pulled out my phone and took a picture. Not because I had a plan, just because I needed proof. Proof this actually happened. I didn't take the portrait out. I didn't confront anyone. I picked up my dish, walked out, got in my car, and drove home. I didn't cry. I just sat in my apartment that night staring at that photo until 3 in the morning. They didn't even wait 24 hours. For 2 weeks I didn't answer when my mom called. Didn't go to Sunday dinner. Kept working, met deadlines, sent invoices. My friends asked if I was okay. I said I was fine. I wasn't fine. I just didn't know what I was waiting for yet. Thanksgiving, Drew stopped by my studio with leftovers from Mom's early prep. He walked around while I made coffee, looked at the canvases, my grandmother's paint box on the shelf. This is really cool, Rena. I don't think I've ever actually been in here. Then he went to the bathroom and left his phone on the counter. I didn't mean to look. But his phone lit up with a notification from the family group chat, the one I'm not in. I swiped up. The phone wasn't locked. The chat opened, and I scrolled up without thinking. Then I saw my name. August 15th, the night of the party. 10:47 p.m. Mom, we should probably move Serena's gift before tomorrow morning. A photo below it, my portrait, still wrapped perfectly on their dining room table. Dad, got a good shot just in case she asks later. Mom, we'll tell her it got damaged in storage if she brings it up. Drew, she won't ask. She never does. I read it 3 times. Then I took screenshots, every message, every photo. I heard the bathroom door open and set the phone back exactly where it had been. Drew came out, pocketed it, didn't notice a thing. Thanks for the coffee, he said. See you tomorrow. Yeah, I said. See you tomorrow. They didn't just throw it away. They planned how to lie to me about it. They took a picture for evidence. They had the cover story ready before I'd even realized it was gone. A week later, I ran into a woman from my mom's church at the grocery store. Beverly, mid-60s, known my family for years. She saw me in the produce section. Serena, your mom showed us the most beautiful portrait at the anniversary party. The one you found on Etsy. Such a sweet idea. I stopped. I'm sorry, what? The portrait. Your mom said you found it online. A custom digital print. Very thoughtful. I finished my groceries in a daze. When I got home, I called a friend who still attends that church. Asked casually if she'd heard anything about the anniversary. Your mom mentioned the portrait. Said you ordered it online. Also said you don't actually paint professionally, that it's more of a hobby thing. I thanked her and hung up. They hadn't just thrown the portrait away. They'd rewritten the story. To every friend, every church member, anyone who might ask. I hadn't painted it. I'd bought it on Etsy. I wasn't a professional. I just fiddled around. They weren't protecting themselves from guilt. They were protecting their image from my existence. 2 days later, Warren Wilson texted me. He's one of my best clients, retired CEO, 67 years old, commissioned 3 portraits for me over 2 years. His text said, coffee tomorrow. Need to talk. We met in Germantown. He told me he'd been at a church fundraiser. My mother was there. He'd overheard her telling someone I wasn't really a professional, that the anniversary gift I'd given them was something I'd found on Etsy. I've bought 3 portraits from you, Warren said, jaw tight. I've referred you to 4 people. Every one of them says you're the best commission artist they've worked with. He looked at me straight. What the hell is going on? And that's when I broke. Not loudly. Not dramatically. Quiet tears, the kind you hold back for so long they just come out on their own. I hadn't cried once in 3 months. Warren handed me a napkin without making it a moment, and I told him everything. The portrait. My grandmother's oils. The letter. The party. Drew's toast. The trash can. The texts. She won't ask. She never does. When I finished, he said quietly, "Do you still have the photo? The one in the trash?" I showed him. He studied it. Then, "Do you still have the actual portrait?" I assumed they threw it out. "Would you be willing to find out? Because I know someone who needs to see it." I texted my mom that afternoon. "I need to pick up the portrait. The one you put in storage." Long pause. 3 dots appeared and disappeared 3 times. "Oh, honey. I'm so sorry. It got damaged. The frame cracked." I typed back, "I'd like to see it anyway. For sentimental reasons." Saturday morning, both cars in the driveway. My mom opened the door before I could knock. Nervous, I could tell by the way she wouldn't meet my eyes. "I think it's in the basement." "It's not in the basement," I said. "It was in the kitchen trash the morning after your party. I came to get my serving dish." I saw it face down, still wrapped, on coffee grounds and wine-soaked napkins. Her face went still. My father appeared in the doorway. "Did you keep the photo?" I asked him. "The one you took just in case?" He looked at my mother, then back at me. "I'll give you 2 options," I said, and my voice was steadier than I expected. "You tell me where it is right now, or I show the screenshots to Drew and let him explain the text thread." A long silence. Then my mother said, very quietly, "It's in the garage. In a storage bin." They'd kept it. Not out of guilt. Out of fear that I'd ask. They were right to be afraid. I found it under old Christmas decorations in a clear plastic bin. Small scratch on the frame, faint stain on the bottom edge of the canvas, but intact. I carried it to my car without another word. My mother followed me to the driveway. Serena, please. We didn't mean. I put the portrait in the back seat, closed the door, turned to her. You photographed it before you threw it away. That's not an accident. That's planning. She opened her mouth, closed it. I got in my car and drove away. I took the portrait to a conservator. $420 to clean the stain and treat the surface. New gallery standard frame, $200. When it was done, it looked like it had never been in a trash can. Warren introduced me to Margot Hargrove, owner of Hargrove Contemporary, a mid-size gallery with a solid regional reputation. She came to my studio, stood in front of the restored portrait for a long time, and said, "Tell me about this." I gave her the short version. Painted it for my parents' 30th anniversary. They threw it away. I found it. I got it back. She was quiet. Then, I'm curating a show in January. It's called Reclaimed, works that have been rejected, abandoned, or dismissed. Pieces that found their way back. She looked at me. Would you let me show this? Something shifted in my chest. Okay, I said. We price pieces based on materials, time, experience, and story, she said. For this one, $8,900. I blinked. That's what it's worth, she said. The question is whether you believe that. I wrote the wall text over a week. 6 drafts. The final version read, a portrait created as a gift for my parents' 30th wedding anniversary. Painted over 120 hours using my late grandmother's oils. Rejected by its subjects and discarded the night it was given. This work explores the gap between the value we assign our own labor and the value others grant it. Reclaimed from literal trash, it now stands as testimony that worth is not determined by the approval we fail to receive. Margot read it. Nodded once. Perfect. The opening was January 18th. I didn't invite my parents. But the show was in 5 points. Posters went up everywhere. The local arts magazine ran a preview. People talk. The gallery was packed, 80 people, maybe more. My portrait hung in the main room directly across from the entrance, single spotlight, wall text on a plaque beside it. I wore a black dress and my grandmother's silver earrings and stood near the back watching people read the text, look at the painting, then read the text again. At 7:15, a woman approached me. Dr. Lydia Whitmore, art history professor, private collector. This is extraordinary, she said. The skill, yes. But the story. You've turned rejection into reclamation. I'd like to purchase it. Margot was already walking over with a red sticker. Sold. $8,900. I'd receive $5,340 for the portrait my parents threw in the trash. At 7:45, I saw them. Standing near the entrance. My mother in a church dress, my father in the suit he only wears for weddings and funerals. They were looking at the portrait. At the spotlight. At the crowd. At the red sold sticker beside the wall text. I watched them read it. I watched my mother's hand go to her mouth. My father's shoulders dropped. They stood there for 20 minutes without approaching anyone, without saying a word. Warren found me near the back. They've been here 20 minutes. Just standing there. I know. Do you want me to? No. Let them watch. At 8, I headed for the exit. I had to pass them to get there. My mother saw me coming. She opened her mouth, like she'd been holding words for months, and this was finally the moment. I kept walking. Didn't slow down. Didn't look back. I heard her voice behind me. Quiet. Shaking. Serena. I kept walking. 7 days after the opening, I texted my mom, I'm available for coffee Saturday at 10. Public place. She replied immediately. I chose a cafe in Green Hills. She was already at a table when I arrived, eyes red. We didn't mean to hurt you, she said. The portrait just wasn't really our style. And Drew's gifts were more practical. We didn't know what to do with it. So you photographed it before you threw it away, I said. That's not knowing what to do. That's planning. That's taking a picture for evidence in case I asked. That's having the lie ready before I even knew it was gone. Her face crumpled. And then you told people I bought it on Etsy. That I'm not a real artist. You rewrote the story because you couldn't explain to your church friends why you'd thrown away something I spent 120 hours making. I didn't know what else to say. People kept asking, and I couldn't. So you lied, I said. She was crying now. I'm your mother. You can't just display our family problems for strangers. It sold for $8,900, I said. She went very still. A collector bought it. Someone who understood what it was worth. Drew's watch was $220. His bracelet was $180. You wore them like trophies and toasted him in front of 40 people. You told everyone he was the one who truly understood what 30 years meant. Serena. I didn't come for an apology, I said. I came to tell you I don't need one anymore. I stood up. We're still your family. You're my parents, I said. But you're not my people. I left her sitting there. It's February now. Dr. Whitmore commissioned a new portrait, her wife and 2 daughters. $7,200. Margot invited me to a larger group show this summer. Warren referred me to 2 more collectors, both reached out within a week. I hired a part-time studio assistant. Drew texted last week. Mom wants you at Easter. I read it. Left it on read. I'm in my studio right now. North-facing window. Good light. Linseed oil and turpentine. My grandmother's brushes on the table, still in the wooden box she kept them in. The note she left me is taped to my easel. Art doesn't need permission. It only needs patience. She was right. I used to think I needed my parents to see me, to validate my work, to tell me I mattered. I spent years trying to earn something they'd already decided not to give. I don't think that way anymore. Last week, a regional arts magazine reviewed the reclaimed show and mentioned my portrait by name, a powerful meditation on familial rejection and artistic resilience. My phone buzzed with the notification. I read it, smiled, set the phone down. Then I went back to work. I don't paint for my parents anymore. I don't paint for approval. I paint because I'm good at it. Because people see it and something in them shifts. Because it matters. That's enough. That's more than enough. Thanks for listening, and if this story moved you, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and don't forget to comment and subscribe for more stories about people who stopped waiting for permission and bet on themselves instead. The work was never waiting for their approval. It was waiting for yours.